A week after the Rams had a monumental victory over the Buccaneers, the Cardinals came up into LA and just smacked them in the face. The Cardinals are the only undefeated team left in the NFL. So how far will they move up in my week 5 power rankings? What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. And then, as always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, sensual, intimate football discourse down there. Let's go ahead and take a look at last week's rankings. And I can tell you a few places where I feel like I may have went wrong with these suckers. Maybe I was a bit too feeling too good after the Lions had another close loss against Baltimore. But yeah, I feel like I may have jumped the gun on the Lions, and perhaps it was a bad move to move the Cardinals down. And honestly, I only did that because the Cowboys and the Chargers had really big wins and really big wins, really big statement victories, with Dallas beating Philadelphia, like destroying them. And then, of course, the Chargers beating the Chiefs. And the Cardinals kind of had that this week. They had that victory. But let's go ahead. Let's get into the power rankings. We're going to start with 32 through 25. And we got a new bottom of the list. It's the Texans. I know. They have a win. They have a win over the Jags, matter of fact. You know what? They still look like the worst team coming in this week against the Bills. At least the Jags showed some life against Joe Burrow. That defense, I know, not great for the Jags, but I think it did enough to put them in a position to win that game. Trevor Lawrence looked a lot better. So, especially after the week Davis Mills had, man, it was a bad week. It was a bad week. Let's go into the stats real quick. Did he get over 100? No. He was 11 of 21 for 87 yards, 4 interceptions, 3 sacks. Yeah, that's not going to get it done on offense, Chief, but Texas defense filled with veterans, but also a couple of big injuries. So, yeah, I just feel like the Texans are the worst team in the NFL. And then I drop the Lions down. You know what? The Lions defense is just really bad. I mean, if they were able to let the Bears showed some life. Justin Fields showed some promise. And I really kind of contribute that to I think the Lions defense is bad. I think offensively they could hang if they had a team that could make a few stops here and there. And that's what the Jets have. That's why they move up here to 29. The Jets have a stellar defense. And finally, the offense. I've been saying for the last few weeks, Zach Wilson, man, he's looking for big-time throws, man. He's making those throws. They just haven't panned out yet. Just wait. And he comes up huge in this game against the Titans. So, yeah, I think they deserve to be up there. I think that's kind of the first tier of teams. These teams that are rebuild / really bad. Dolphins aren't far from that, man. I'm a Dolphins fan. Fins up, baby. Fins up. But our offense looks terrible, dude. They can't move the ball. The defense can only do so much. Offensive line's not been playing well. I think Will Fuller went down to a hand injury. I don't know the specifics on that, but even with Jacoby Brissett, you can't imagine things are going to get better with Tua at the helm. I just can't. I mean, this team offensively looks like a nightmare. Young and inexperienced offensive line is just getting molly-whopped, and yeah, they just can't move the ball. Myles Gaskin's taking a back seat to Malcolm Brown, so things just don't look good. I have Atlanta, despite the loss, moving up one. I think offensively this team is starting to look good, that they can keep themselves into games. Defense, though, you can kind of walk over the defense. And then the Bears moving up 3 spots. It was a good win, man. Good win. I don't think they go back to Andy Dalton just yet. I know Matt Nagy does Matt Nagy things, but I think for the first time, Justin Fields this season has looked pretty darn impressive. And even if it wasn't a great, I wouldn't really consider it a breakout game. He had Okay, he had an interception, no touchdowns. But again, dude, his throws, man, those were some big money throws, man. Only like only have like having 209 yards on only 11 completions is kind of a big thing. David Montgomery definitely something to monitor because it sounds like it's not, as far as I know, it is not season ending. Let's see, 4 to 5 weeks. That's kind of huge because he's a big focal point in the offense, but we'll see going forward. And then I have the Giants here. The Giants, I'm ready to move up a ton. I feel like this is a very good football team that's just been kind of bad. And mainly, you could point fingers at the defense, man. Honestly, the defense, that secondary should have been a lot better than it has been. And, man, they've had drop picks. It's just wild. Daniel Jones is playing good football. Kadarius Toney got super involved with the offense. I think he had 5 forced missed tackles in the game. And, yeah, Saquon, man, he looked good. The offensive line, yeah, we already know. The offensive line is terrible. Nate Solder, Billy Price, they shouldn't be starters in this league. But what can you do about it? I think this is a Giants team that could go to toe-to-toe with almost any team in the NFL. And, I mean, let's be honest, man. They've found ways to lose games. Really, all their games this season. Because, I mean, that Saints game went to OT. The Falcons won. They shouldn't have lost. They played better than the Falcons. Washington, they shouldn't have lost. They were playing better than Washington. And, yeah, I mean, the Broncos actually, that was a loss. That was an L. They could take the L there. Let's move on to the next part of my power rankings. Taking a look at the Steelers. Falling 3 spots. So what happens when you get smacked around by A-Rod? But I think Big Ben, he looked good at the beginning of the game, but this is just not a good Steelers offense. So, yeah. Philly, they move up 2 spots after a big loss, I guess, over the Chiefs, where the Chiefs pulled away late. But it was nice to see life on that offense after Dallas kind of just like neutered this Eagles team, both offensively and defensively. But yeah, that Chiefs team's tough to stop, man. That's a good Chiefs squad. Washington got the win this week. Tyler Heineke couldn't rely on his defense to make a stop against Matt Ryan. No Matthew, no Stafford, Matt Ryan. But yeah, it was nice to see Tyler Heineke go toe-to-toe and kind of step up in a very big game here. And then the Indianapolis Colts got their first win on the season, beating my Miami Dolphins. Not that that's a surprise. Kind of figured they would. If they were going to get a win, it had to be here. So it's a move in the right direction, but they kind of got a big game, I believe, this week, or a super unwinnable one. I think it's the Ravens. Yeah, they faced the Ravens Monday night in Baltimore. Good luck, man. Good luck. That's going to be a toughie. Minnesota, I think, is one of the best one-loss team or one-win teams. Also, this team they play games close, man. They just find ways to lose the game. And to be fair, that Browns defense just was stellar against the Vikings. But yeah, man, they honestly shouldn't have lost to the Bengals. They shouldn't have lost to the Cardinals. And then the Vikings, obviously, they had a good win there. Or I said Vikings, the Seahawks. So, yeah, this is a Vikings team that's a lot better than 1-3. So it didn't feel right moving them down, but I didn't move them too much down. Just one spot. And then we have the Patriots, a good showing against Tom Brady, and I mean, it was raining, the conditions weren't prime, but yeah, it was in Foxborough. Brady, he just got the record. Mac Jones, I thought, looked reasonably good. They're not really asking him to throw the ball deep a ton, but he doesn't really need to if he can move the ball efficiently, and just if he's able to pick up points, because that defense is very good for the Patriots. And then the New Orleans Saints found a way to lose this week to the New York Giants. I had a feeling, dude. I didn't go with it. And yeah, now the Saints, they're 2-2. strap in, get ready for the Jameis ride, man. The Jameis roller coaster is back. And then the Bengals move up 3 spots after moving up 7 spots last week, dude. Joe Burrow is looking good, dude. So good, man. Oh. And I know the Jags not an impressive win. Keep in mind that Bengals defense was beat up going into the game, but they're 3-1, and I think there's a chance they might be legit this year. Then 16 through 9, we start with the San Francisco 49ers. Tough loss against the Seattle Seahawks. They had a couple of injuries. Injuries still continue to be a thing for the Niners, which sucks, but at least Jimmy G sounds like he'll be back potentially next week. I mean, Trey Lance, I don't know how far along he is in his development. I don't know how they feel about him, but that's still gonna be rough if he has to come in and start next week, because I think they have the Cardinals next week, right? It's kind of huge. Yeah, they got the Cardinals in Arizona. Yeah, so I don't know if that's the game I want Trey Lance coming in, starting. And then the Tennessee Titans, they lost to the New York Jets in OT. They're going to get ragged on, but this Tennessee team's really good. I feel like they could almost beat anyone in the league, but at the same time, they could literally lose to anybody. It's rough. They're kind of fortunate. The rest of their division's kind of dog water right now between the Jags, Texans, and Colts. So it's really their division to lose at this point. Keep in mind, team not healthy. Ryan Tannehill missing his top 2 targets in Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. So, yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson, he was hitting the big throws. They played a good game. That's a good Jets defense. So, tough loss. I moved the Broncos up a spot. I thought they put in a pretty good first half performance against the Baltimore Ravens. Just that offense could never get going, unfortunately. Seattle Seahawks, big win over the San Francisco 49ers after coming off a pretty devastating loss to the Vikings. But remember, man, the Vikings, they might be the best 1-3 team in the league. I'm not going to move the Raiders down or anything. I'm going to keep them there at 12. I thought they played a very gritty, a very ferocious game against the Chargers, where they were able to stay in it after being down, I think, 21 early. So, yeah, but Carolina Panthers looked way more impressive. They were taking that Dallas team to task in a shootout. Dallas, they got a couple scores ahead. They come back roaring. They ran out of time at the end of that game. I think Carolina still looks good. They get CMC back in a few weeks, so good on them. The Browns, I think they might have one of the best defenses in the league, and I move them down 3 spots really only because I moved up a few squads. So, I mean, they make the top 10. They are a very good squad, but yeah, they're just outside of that like elite right now. The Chargers, they're looking good. I'm gonna keep them here at 9. And then going to the final part of the list, I'm going to also keep Dallas where they're at. As you can see, the big mover being the Cardinals, but we'll get to that in a sec. I have the Bills, Packers, and Chiefs all drop in 1 spot, and that's really to make room for the Cardinals. They had a legit win. Kyler Murray, he is having, like, not to say, I don't want to call it a breakout year, but, like, he's taken that step into, hey, I'm elite. Before you know it, he's going to sign with AEW. But, yeah, Rams, I don't want to drop them too much. That's a good Cardinals squad. Tough loss. So I just dropped them 3 spots. I mean, they were sitting at number 1. Cardinals here, they're up 7. And you might be like, why are the Ravens up in there? I mean, they're not undefeated. Yeah, but I think the Ravens are probably one of the better squads in the league, especially defensively. Extremely tough defense. They play very good offense. They have one of the best playmakers in Lamar Jackson. So hard to stop. So, yeah, and then Tampa Bay, you almost lose to the Patriots in Foxborough. Yeah, I guess you move up a spot. I feel like the Cardinals, it's really hard, man. It's really hard, let me tell you. like some people might complain about, oh, the Cardinals are undefeated. They should be at number 1 in the rankings. But do you really think they're better than Tampa Bay? For me, that's kind of hard to say. Though Tampa Bay, they took a few ferocious injuries like Carlton Davis, as the secondary just continues to crumble. Let's see. Yes, give me an update on this injury, please. Antoine Winfield went down as well. Woof. Winfield, he was being evaluated for a concussion, so could be back next week, or even the week after, depending on how that goes. He's in protocol and whatnot. Let's see what Davis. I don't see anything specifically. Okay, there's got to be new information out there, right? Here, let's take a look here. They call it a quad injury, so maybe it's not nearly as bad, but still, they got Sean Murphy-Bunting down. They got Jameel Dean down. They just brought in Richard Sherman. What is it? Ross Crockwell, right? That's who they have starting there. Crockrell. There we go. He's a vet. He's heavy. He played better football this past week, but I just think right now with the Cardinals, I think it's tough to justify jumping them all the way up. Like, they have wins over Tennessee, who just lost to the Jets. They have a win over the Jets. They have a win over the Jags. Like, this was the big win, and I mean, they did it in a big fashion. I just feel like it's tough to move them up from there. And yes, the Chiefs, they're 2-2. I got them pretty high for 2-2. I still think they're one of the best offenses, hard to stop. Just ask the Eagles, dude. The Eagles were going off on that Chiefs defense. It didn't matter. So, yeah, I'm Patty Mahomes, man. He kind of gives you an edge. Same with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. They may have not looked too great. I mean, Alexander getting beat early by Deontay Johnson, not a great look, but it's Aaron Rodgers, dude, and Aaron you trust. But we'll see how everything shapes up next week. That's it for the video. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.